What's going on, everybody? So Matrix here, and I'm gonna teach you how to install Open Fortress on Linux. I'm using Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. Right now, just blowing up my screen some more, typing in my IP to my game server. So what's gonna go on is I'm gonna go through most of the steps as in depth as I can, possibly. Uh, you know, as you can see here, I goofed up my password twice till I realized that I was using the wrong login. So we'll let this go real quick. See what goes on. I love watching this. Boom, now we're in. So what now I'm doing right now is I'm just looking at my current directory, then realizing I'm not in my screen session. So I'm listing my screens because I forgot what number it was, and now we're connecting in. Hopefully. Yeah, we are. Jeez. Alright, so now we're at the main directory. This is for when I do updates, I just manually update everything myself. But right now I'm going to my main server directory where I install all of my servers. And then what I'm doing here is I'm adding all the architectures that you'll need from your ncurses and everything else. Anything that you might need. Because the game runs on 32-bit binaries and there's no 64-bit compatibility with these. So you have to install these on a 64-bit Linux system. I'm pretty sure on a 32-bit as well. So I'll let these go ahead and run through real quick. It doesn't take long because I had most of these already installed. So the next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to go disappear to the guide again. I'm going to list a directory. Big whoop. And then now I'm going to make the Open Fortress directory. So for me, I'm making number 4. This will be my 4th server. But for you guys, it could be Open Fortress server. You can name it whatever you want. And then afterwards, you CD into it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to paste this curl command in and pull steamcmd for Linux. And I will be sure to link the guide in the description because this is what I'm following. Only I make some changes myself. So that way it actually runs because there's nothing, because it's not in there. Now we're extracting the file. And then what we're going to do next is going to launch it real quick to install all the dependencies that it needs, its updates and everything else. While this is going, so I basically didn't do a live thing. I'm just doing a voiceover as it's going. That's why this is the way that it's working right now. Checking for more updates. Nope, doesn't have any. I'm getting too impatient trying to quit it. I type in exit or quit. Doesn't work. Exit works. Exited. Yeah. All right, so now what we're doing is you can make sure you're still in your Open Fortress server directory, and then you're going to nano or vim, it's called vim. You're going to make a thing called fullupdate.txt. And what I'm doing here is I'm debating whether or not I want to type it all out or copy and paste it. So I started with typing it all out, and then I got too lazy, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll copy and paste the rest of it. As you can see here, yeah. And then I'm like, all right, I'm bored. And I went and copy and paste the rest of this shit in. Make sure you have it all in there, including that shutdown on failed command. Make sure you have that in there. You're going to Control O and then Control X if you're using Nano. And then you're going to run steamcmd again. I think I screwed up somewhere. Yeah. So I'm changing the Team Fortress 2 dedicated server because Linux has an issue with spaces. I would recommend you guys do the same. Just rename the directory to TF2 right there. And then you're going to do a /steamcmd.sh plus run script and then the name of that text file. What this is just like a little mini script. It's nothing more than just a bunch of commands that you would normally use on steamcmd, and then it would run them through. So here things are going to start downloading. At this point, this is where the first cut is going to be made. Now that we're back, everything's finished installing, and now I'm listing the directory, and now I'm CDing into my SDK directory. And I'm listing stuff again, and now we're going to install the Open Fortress dedicated files. It's binaries and everything else. As you can see here, I pasted the command in. I'm deleting a couple of things. Yeah, I'm just deleting the OFS username. So in the guide itself, this OFS username is in there. Delete it. And what it's going to do now is it's going to make that directory and install all the Open Fortress files from maps, materials, binaries, and all that stuff. And now that that's done installing, we're back again. Listing directory, and I'm showing you guys that it made the Open Fortress folder. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go read the guide some more. Because that's always fun. Reading a guide, it's pretty easy as long as you follow the guide. Most people, sometimes it's hard to. But now we're changing to our bin, and now we're making the symbolic links to most of these files here because they're broken. Thanks, Valve. So I pasted the ln-s, ln space -s, and all it does is it makes symbolic files to what they need to be so links can read them. And after that, that is it. You're done with the SDK bin directory, and I'm just listing it so you guys can see. The blue ones are the symbolically linked ones. And now we're going to our Open Fortress directory, where we're going to go into our bin. And we're going to make a symbolic server underscore srv.so, which is what the srcds Linux uses to run the server. You can see you just hit enter ls. Now you can see it's highlighted right there in blue. Highlighting the command for you guys to see. See blue. Now we're changing back, and the next thing we're doing is we're looking and we're going to edit our game info. Now this is really important, or else your server will not launch. As you will see further in the video, I fucked up pretty hard. But right now I am showing you guys what to delete. So you're going to delete most of the stuff here, anything that deals with Team Fortress 2, and then below it, the Team Fortress 2 HL2. You're going to change these to what you need them to be at. So like home, whatever your install directory is for your TF2 folder that you made earlier is what you're going to do. And I also noticed too, I made another mistake. This is what provoked the can't mount Team Fortress 2 files, is I forgot to put one tiny thing, and that was the OF server 4. Everything else was good, it's just I needed to put OF server 4. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually making it a little bit easier on myself, and this is how I screwed up because I didn't go the whole way. And I just stopped right there and I didn't continue on down the line. So I just copied pasted this. So I'm copying it, and then I'm going to nano my game info again, and then realize I'm in root. I'm trying to load it as root, so I cancel that. And then I run it as a normal user. I'm just going down, and now next thing I'm doing is I'm going to start editing all these files, and this is where we jump off again into the next segment where I'm finished setting up this. And we're back, and this is completely wrong. I'm showing you this because it's how it's going to look, but just know it's completely wrong, and I fix it in the next video, in the next cut that we do. But we need to keep this in here just in case. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating the run.sh script. Itchy. As you can see here, I'm copying everything again from the guide. Nano run.sh. Then I just paste it in, and I change it to my liking. So DM Hydro does not work right now, so I'm removing it to DM2 forward. Then I'm changing the port. Let's say I'm doing the plus port. Yeah, I'm changing my port because my 27015 port's already in use. And you Control O, Control X, hit nano, and you make it executable with chmod plus X. And here it comes. So it's going to load up, and you're going to get a segment fault. It says error, your server could not mount TF2 correctly. I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, I'm an idiot. And then I realized I screwed up. So we're going back in, and now we're back, and you can see me here fixing it because I forgot to add the correct directory. So make sure you have the correct directory, or else the game won't load. Shit happens, you know, people rush these things all the time, including me. So here we are, fixing everything up. I'll slow typer. And there we go. That's it for that. Now I'm control Xing and then entering. So basically it's saving the file, and then I run the script again. And this time it actually works. And I'll show you here. As you can see, it's mounting all the VPKs, every single TF2 file needed. Boom. Now you can see we have a network IP SAPI. So like some of this stuff you can ignore in the guide. It tells you how to fix it. If you want to run that fix, you can. Everything works normally if you don't use it. And then it takes a little bit to load up, but this is it. This is how you install an Open Fortress server for Ubuntu, at least. Ubuntu, I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it. But this is it. And I want to say it pops up right now. Yeah, there you go. You have your own Open Fortress server running.